Some of the Orion editors were in San Francisco this past weekend at the Associated Collegiate Press Convention and the California College Media Association Awards Banquet, where the Orion won several nice prizes, including Best Print Newspaper in California for big schools. So that's pretty exciting. One thing they also did was to attend two critiques, one for the print edition of the Orion and one for the online version, the Orion.com. I asked Carly Plemons if she would summarize what she heard in those two critiques for you this week, instead of me giving you a written critique for the whole paper and website. I hope you enjoy it.
So at the ACP critique last weekend, the critiquer for print talked a lot about photos, sports, opinion, and a lot of design elements like color consistency, breaking up the text, and just little things like that, as well as cross-promotion. So for photo, he talked a lot about how photos really are a visual representation of the story. So he really wants photographers to just get out there more, take more photos of faces of people just to get a face to the story. As well as getting closer, and don't be afraid to move to get the shot that you need. He also said to wait for people to ignore the photographer because sometimes they act differently if they know someone is present. He also said a lot of the same things for sports. So he's looking for a lot more action photos. You have the opportunity to get a lot of people in action, moving, get closer to them. He also wants sports to have more feature stories, and basically he really wanted to emphasize sharing on social media. So for opinion, he talked a lot about the art matching the story. So for example, this story, how the art doesn't really match what the opinion is supposed to be portraying. It's objectifying this teacher instead of supporting your story. So for design, there was a real emphasis on color consistency, as well as breaking up stories and text with more pull quotes and visuals. So I think he really wanted us to just experiment with it because we have that creativity that allows us to with design. He also said to lighten photos and the contrast to make the photos less muddy because there's a lot of muddy photos. And basically making sure that you're catering to the reader and making sure that it's keeping the readability and breaking it up with more photos and stuff that gives you a break. So for print, they also talked about cross-promotion and how in print we should probably say something at the bottom of stories that's like, check out this video that goes along with it online, stuff that's kind of our online exclusives that you can't just see in print, and vice versa. The web critiquer talked a lot about social media advice, incorporating more slideshows and videos, taking a look at the analytics and see what our readers are actually interested in, formatting stories differently for readers, and mostly being proud about your work and promoting it on all of your platforms. So for social media, they talked about using that as a way to guide readers to your stories once they're already written. So if that's arts, so if it's you want to be taking a video outside the venue, asking people questions or something like that, and posting that on Twitter, doing live tweeting, and most importantly, promoting your stories on social media. They also talked about using slideshows, using sound bites, adding more videos to your stories, even if it's just a 10-second video clip that you posted on Twitter, just something that's linking it and being more interesting than just 12 inches of text. They also talked about looking at our analytics, and that's important because we need to see what our readers are actually reading, because it doesn't matter if you're putting all this work into a story if no one's looking at it. The next one was talking about formatting stories for the readers. We're doing a good job about that in print, using design to break up that kind of stuff to make it easier. But right now we're we're servicing our writers and we're not servicing our readers. So we just need to simplify it and make it so people are actually understanding what we're doing and they're not having to search through 12 inches of text about it. They also talked about incorporating more pictochart, graphs, and maps into our stories, just to provide more evidence and just helps the readers understand what they're looking at. And finally, the web critiquer wanted us to be more proud of our work, proud of the fact that we are a Pacemaker-winning, student-run newspaper, and that, I mean, it's interesting that this is the first semester that we've had an article about all the accomplishments and the awards that we've won. And so everyone needs to be more proud about the work that they're doing and just sharing it on social media, and just more like promotion and being proud of ourselves and the work that we do.